Defining the problem. We have a farm that grows radishes. Our neighbor also grows radishes. She always grows her radishes faster and sells them before us. By the time we bring our radishes to market, the town is tired of radishes. We need to grow our radishes faster than our neighbor. But how? Asking questions. To try to solve our problem, we ask a lot of questions. Questions are important in science. The question we decided to test was, will different amount of light make plants grow faster? We predicted that the plants in the light box would grow faster than the others. Photosynthesis. We learned that all plants perform a process called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is when a plant makes its own food using carbon dioxide, water, and light. A plant's food is glucose. During photosynthesis, plants also make oxygen, which we breathe to survive. Seeds contain energy in form of glucose. Seeds can only provide plants with a limited amount of energy to get started. After that, seedlings need to find light so they can do photosynthesis and make their own food. A hypothesis. A hypothesis is a testable prediction based on something we know. We learned about photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a process where plants produce or make their own food. For plants to do photosynthesis, they need 3 ingredients, CO2, H2O, and light E, and will produce glucose, their food, and oxygen. Plants don't use the oxygen, so they get rid of it as a waste product. Blah, that tastes horrible. And that is good for us because we breathe it and would die without it. To answer our question, we chose a responding variable and a manipulated variable. Our responding variable is the plants will grow. Our manipulated variable is the amount of light. Anything else that can change in our experiments are called controlled variables. Examples of controlled variables in our experiment would be the amount of water, soil, and type of plant. 3 words in every hypothesis are if, then, and because. Our hypothesis was if, our manipulated variable, then our responding variable, because something we know. Our experiment. We designed an experiment to test if light will affect the growth of the plant. Here are the procedures we used to set up our experiment. Number 1. We set up 3 areas with different lighting, light box, room light, and a dark closet. Number 2. We then added the same amount of soil and water to 3 planting pots, controlling the type of soil and amount of water. Number 3. We then added 3 seeds to each pot, controlling the number of seeds. Number 4. We put 1 pot in the light box, 1 pot in the counter in the room light, and 1 pot in the cupboard, so it would be in complete darkness. Number 5. Every week for 4 weeks, we observed and measured the plant's response to different light. Number 6. We each period of science set up the same experiment so that it was replicated. We replicate experiments because if one plant was messed up, we would know that it wasn't because of the light. Results from our experiment. Each week we measured the height of the plants in each pot and wrote the data in our data table. Data tables can be confusing to some people because they are full of numbers. We decided to create a graph instead because graphs help us visualize the growth better. Here are some results from our data tables. And here are some results from our graphs. Interpreting our results. If you look at our graph, you can see that the plants grown in the light box grew higher and higher and kept on growing. The plants in the room light grew and grew but then died. The plants grown in the dark grew taller and taller until it couldn't get any taller, then died. This graph shows us that the plants grown in the dark grew faster but then died on the 4th week. However, the plants grown in the light box survive longer. The reason for this is because during photosynthesis, plants need light to create glucose for the plant to be able to keep growing. Our results did not support our hypothesis. The plants in the light box didn't grow the fastest, but they sure were the healthiest. Conclusion. We think the plants grown in direct light, the light box, grew stronger, slower, but more healthier than the others because during photosynthesis, plants need light to be able to make glucose to be able to survive.